So, you know, they had Smokey Lemon back then, and he was probably considered one of the best AD carries in the game. Not in the game, in the best AD carries in the UK scene at that point. He's just not been able to get to the level that has been raised by a lot of other UK AD carries. I think he's a brilliant player, but he hasn't shined at the same level as people like Toaster.
I think the problem is the UK AD carry position is actually got quite a wealth of talent that people don't realise. You've got Toaster, you've got Sir Scott, you've got Jokerism, who's pretty good there, and then you're starting to, like, after you get through the top 3 or 4 teams, you're getting to the sort of more meat and potatoes of the.
I think Smokey is a brilliant player, and again, he's one of these guys that has been around for a long time. But you know, I don't think he kind of has the carry potential as a lot of the other UK AD carries, like Toaster, for instance. But he's someone that if you were to pick a team and build a team around, you know, someone else, you slot someone in to be a very reliable AD carry, especially on Lucian, by the way, which has been locked in for him. You know, he can always have an impact in the game, so don't count Smokey Lemon out. Prosfair, super good Thresh player. Thresh is probably one of his best champions, but otherwise he's played a lot of Braum so far.
Every good support in the code.
I mean, Braum's probably the best support in the game right now. He's ridiculous. Him and Alistair are both ridiculously good supports.
Well, let's have a quick talk through the bans, because we didn't see them as they came up on our screen. Zillion, Alistair, and Malphite being banned out here by Choke. Cogmore, Nautilus, and Sivir taken by MNM. So they don't want Jokerism to pick up that Cogmore. They don't want to protect the Cogmore. Lulu's still on the cards if it wants to be picked up by someone here, but we see already
Harper's had that banned against him nearly every game.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Lulu pick up here for MNM. He's got the Nutri, going to take the Nidalee into the jungle. They picked up the Braum and the Corki as well. Of course, Corki can go mid or can go AD carry. Tend to see him more in the mid role these days.
Definitely.
And then Lucy and Poppy picked up. So that's the AD carry and the top laner already locked in for the Molotovs and Marshmallows.
So Braum, really good to pick up, I would say. Very hotly contested support pick. Prosfair is a brilliant Braum player. So yeah, there's a lot of good pickups for Choke on this first rotation. Interesting that they put so much pressure on Nidalee. That's kind of what we saw at the very start of the ESL Premiership in Week 1 and during the promotion tournament. Impaler and Furion had a lot of impetus on playing Nidalee.
Wait, what? Is it going to be a Poppy support?
Yes, Poppy support them.
With Fiora top?
Yeah, we haven't seen Poppy support in quite a while.
No, because it doesn't work that well most
Brixton played it last week.
He did, and they lost that game.
Yeah, I don't think Brixton was the reason they lost. I still think Poppy support has a role. And again, I think versus a Braum, Poppy support is pretty decent.
Yeah, I just don't think it has the strength that you could get. Like, if you pick the Janna, you can disengage a lot better. Poppy support is really there for the ultimate in teamfight.
Yeah, but what's so interesting about the interaction between Poppy and Braum is if you choose to jump onto the Braum, if you focus the Braum, if you pop Steadfast Presence, he can't jump away.
He can't use Stand Behind Me.
He can't stand behind me, so he jumps... Stand beside me, stand behind me is one of the two. He can't use that to get away, and that's actually one of the tools, or he can't use it to engage. You know, sometimes you'll find he'll jump onto a minion near your AD carry, and then try and lock up with Winter's Bite. So, interesting, I quite like the Poppy here.
It works well into Callista as well, but of course Callista was picked after it.
But with the base nerfs to Poppy, that makes a support less viable.
Yeah.
Because you need gold now to make Poppy work, because she now relies more on scaling. Yeah. So the base nerfs to Poppy makes her less viable as a support, because she used to be a bit good because her base stats and base damages were ridiculous. Yeah. Like, they were just really good. And this would not surprise me in the slightest. This really would not surprise me.
So well. However, he will be playing into a Corki in the mid lane. It's quite difficult as a Vygar to get to the stage where you can actually trade with a Corki effectively. And it looks like he's going to pick up the TP as well, which makes a lot of sense.
This is Half Past Thor in a nutshell. And if I were to think of any champion... What are they doing with these swaps on MNM, by the way?
Obviously, someone doesn't own Fiora, so they
this is just tilting me a little bit. But
hey, don't get tilted. It's fine.
But this is super interesting, because this is if I was to pick a champion next in line, I think Harpster would have played, considering he might not play Karthus this game. It would be the Vygar. Now, what is good about this is that should he be under threat from a Valkyrie, from the Corki, or even from the special delivery, he can just throw down his cage, and Corki can't Valk over the cage. He'll
throw it down.
He'll Valk right into the wall of the cage, and then just stop.
So, like, infinitely tall, do you think, this cage?
Yeah, the cage, in terms
of...
how
high do you think Corki's actually flying a lot of the time?
What abilities can actually get over the cage? Because you can't Zac jump over the cage.
You can flash.
If you were to Poppy ult... No, that wouldn't work. Yeah, maybe.
If you Poppy ulted someone through the wall of the cage, I don't think they'd be stunned when they landed.
Would they Not make it past the cage. That's the point.
They'd make it past the cage, but they wouldn't be stunned when they landed either. I think you become untouchable.
Invulnerable during the...
Yeah.
Okay, that makes
It's not even
sense.
invulnerable, because that means you can't
I'm
take
looking forward to
damage.
this mechanic, by the way. It's an interesting mechanic. But we're going to have a look at this composition. So let's have a look at both these compositions here. I'll start with MNM. Pick a Fiora, instantaneously saying we're going to split push.
Yep.
There's no way you bring Fiora into a team fight. I think with Vigar, she can have an impact in a team fight.
If you get a good
stun, that gives Fiora free time to proc Vitals. So, if you stun someone Vital, then Fiora can then go on to proc those Vitals quite readily. So I quite like that. But in reality, and we've seen this a lot from UK teams, very few of them play Fiora correctly.
Yes.
Very few of them manage to run that split push.
They just need to do a CLG. They just need to split for days, and you win the game.
Do you know what? In EU, Fiora has got a trash win rate in the LCS. I believe she's like 45%.
That's because we know how to play and not make it a Clan Fiesta.
In NA...
That's why NA is so good, because they're very good at the Clan Fiesta sort of meta. If you can't spell Clan Fiesta without NA.
Okay.
It ends both of the words.
Nice.
It literally goes NA at the end.
Top cake. But
you can spell it without EU. There's no U in there. Anyway, no, I understand your point. Go ahead. Go on. Make it, Alexander. Make your point. EU, trash win rate on Fiora. Why is that scandal? That's really odd.
So EU's got a pretty trash win rate on Fiora, generally because they don't seem to play the split push the same way NA play the split push. NA are very good, and if you give them one thing, they are very good at making split push compositions work. If you think about some of the most exciting games we've seen in North America so far, it's generally been through either Darshan or someone along the likes, Hauntzer, winning through some crazy split push strategy. And that's what you do with Fiora. You make her so you basically going back to the days of Hotshot, Nidalee, GG, where you make it so someone, and usually more than one person, has to deal with this split pusher, and the rest of your team can then just take other things or pressure them up other places. You really, ideally, never want to fight with a Fiora. You've got Harpastor on Vigar. What better way to disengage any form of fight, especially versus a Rammus as well, by the way, what better way to disengage any form of fight than just throw down your cage?
That's the thing. Event Horizon, which is the cage, into Keeper's Verdict is actually quite a nice combo. And I like that idea. You stun up a bunch of people and then you can knock them away quite easily because they can't dodge away. But I feel a Janna perhaps would have been better for Prosper. Personally, I feel Poppy support has fallen so far down the meta that you shouldn't be picking her as a priority pick. And they picked her first, which is cool because it meant that the other team picked into it, but
they must have been picking this for Poppy support, by the way.
Yeah, because from the start.
Because you wouldn't have picked Fiora otherwise.
No.
You would.
They picked Poppy support and then they picked Fiora
exactly.
themselves.
So unless they were, some teams generally tend to pick these flex picks and say we've got a flex pick here. Then we'll just put it into the role that suits the way that the champ select is going. Now, what is interesting, and I'm just moving on to the other composition of Choke. Fiora gets rammed by Rammus, really does. Okay, don't make that face.
Powerballs all the way in there.
Yeah. But Fiora, she can proc the Vitals, but she really has to go all in with her ultimate if she wants to beat Rammus, because the longer it goes, the less chance she's going to have of doing something good against Rammus in lane. If you consistently proc the Vitals, then it kind of works. But realistically, Rammus can very easily go high armor values, and Fiora is going to find it difficult. She can all in, but again, it's difficult to make that lane matchup work. She does better against other tanks, like things like Malphite and Malkai we've seen in top lane. Fiora does okay against those kind of things. I think that she'll start to struggle versus the Rammus. I don't think Vigar will have a good time versus Corki, but I've said this before, it's Harpastor. End of the day, it's Harpastor. He's probably never going to put himself into a position where he's even going to consider a trade.
Farm with Baleful Strike the entire game until he gets to a stage where his ult can one-shot someone. And that, the great thing about Vigar is it's really good against Kalista, because anything point and click is good against Kalista. Yeah. So you just walk up to her, Primordial Burst, balanced, excellent. You've lost all of your HP.
And Primordial Burst, if she gets hit by the Event Horizon, Baleful Strike, done.
Primordial Burst is Vigar's ultimate in case anyone,
And obviously you also have his W, which does a huge amount of damage if you can land
Dark Matter. Good old Dark Matter.
Dark Matter is a very interesting ability. I love that.
It's really odd.
But Speaking of interesting, we are on to our final game of the night here, Week 3 ESL Premiership. It's going to be Choke versus MNM. This is going to be my game of the week. I think it will be the potentially most closely fought of all the games we've seen so far, and we will have to see whether it lives up to expectations. And, well, expectations are met with a pause very early on here, but it is going to be the Choke lineup on the blue side going up against MNM on the red side. Do you expect to see a lane swap here? Because I think that could be on the cards. Because, like I said, lane swaps don't function the same way that they used to in League of Legends. Lane swaps now, you don't have to worry about the 2 versus 1 matchup because you don't put your
top laner
into a 2 versus 1. Your top laner just rotates around with you, and then eventually, due to some clever wave mechanics, can end up farming by themselves on a frozen lane.
I feel like getting Gash and Slash some early CS is actually going to be a good idea for him. So if you get the lane swap and then you have him go in the long lane, which has already got the tower down, just farm that up as much as possible.
Generally,
that's all right,
as a carry top laner, that's what I would expect. Yeah. I would expect to see this. And with the fact that Prosfair is on this top side.
10 goal for Smoky Lemon.
Top Keck won the game.
Guys.
Yeah.
It's done.
I think with Prosfair being up on this top side, it would make a lot of sense. They've spied out that Lucian is down this bot lane. They're actually going to be initiating a lane swap on the side of Choke, so they don't have any real idea that this is taking place, but Choke are the ones that are going to start to initiate the lane swap here. I think, actually, they may be calling the bluff of MNM.
Yeah, because Prosfair's staying here, and it looked like Gas and Slash was going to back away. We'll have to see, because the lane swap, as you said, has already been started by Jokerism and Wiz here. They've already gone.
I think this is strategical from Choke. I think they're potentially calling the bluff. I think they know that they want to put Gash and Slash away from Rammus in a 1 versus 1, so they're just going to try and force the 2 versus 2 here.
And the problem here is, right, MNM are playing as if they think a lane swap might occur, but they don't have any vision of whether or not a lane swap might occur. So Smoky Lemon and Prosfair now have to go really deep and place a ward to see if anyone's farming, and it pushes them into a really bad position with Wiz and Jokerism around the back of them. If the rest of the team was around here, it'd be awful, and Smoky Lemon's going to walk straight into this. There's the auto, there's the Winter Spite, there's the stun with the concussive blows, and Smoky Lemon so low, but Jokerism goes really low as well. The heal is down, the exhaust goes onto Smoky Lemon. Jokerism's going to get chased off here by Prosfair. That Thunderlords was so big. Kevin Batik's just around the corner. They have taken Krugs, and Gash and Slash and him will be able to farm up the jungle a little bit, but big trades already in this 2v2 matchup. And Smoky Lemon and Prosfair can't get to this CS as well as they'd like to. That's really good.
I got to say, Prosfair, I'm trying to think of the word, good presence of mind to save his skill for that charge. He saved it. He didn't level up anything until he needed to, and he saved it and leveled up the charge, which basically kept them from getting first blooded there in that small engage.
It did. And it's a lot more damage than I'd expect from a Poppy that early on. I think he's gone for the Thunderlords as well as his Keystone, so really burst out Jokerism. Did mean they had to use the heal on both sides, both the summoners for the support, so Ignite and Exhaust are down as well. Smoky has used his Flash, which means that if this lane plays out effectively for the side of Choke, they can try and get Nutri up here for a gank earlier on.
But it's just going to be the 1 versus 1, which I think is what Gash and Slash was looking to avoid.
Nutri stole off a blue buff here as well, because they knew that they delayed Batik and Gash and Slash a little bit. He was able to take away the blue. Now, are they going to go for a dive on Gash and Slash? I think they're just going to go for the tower damage. It's very brave to go for a dive with the parry up as well. You see that parry stuns up Nick, which is really well done.
He went for the taunt, so...
Yeah.
Stunned it up there. Nutri going to get locked on by Q.
He will get caught out with Kevin Batik. He's going to try and chase. Nutri will flash away. Does have that heal, of course. And now Nick is going to try and get that Lee Sin down. There comes the spear. There comes the chase. And Kevin Batik has to flash away, but the red buff proc is enough. And Nutri picks up first blood.
Wow, I think a little bit over-aggressive from Kevin Batik there. He looked like he was trying to get the execute onto Nutri, but Nutri able to flash away. And then, obviously, the Powerball from Rammus. Just huge amounts of movement speed. Cut and dry, but Kevin Batik just went a little bit too hard there, and the red buff managed to seal the deal.
So he lost his blue buff. He lost the first blood as well. Nutri's going to secure his own blue buff, which is great for him. He can even give it across towards Luxie for the extra spam in the mid lane if he wants. I mean, Nidalee is quite reliant on blue.
And it's the way that Choke started their jungle pathing that has led to all of this. Oh, Smoky Lemon.
Stunned up again. They try and knock Jokerism into the wall. I like that W counteracting the jumps from Jokerism. His martial poise is really good. That steadfast presence, as you say, into the to stop the martial poise jumps with the auto
attack. Does it stop the martial poise? It definitely stopped Stand Behind Me. I didn't realise it stopped martial poise as well. That's amazing.
Because it's any dash or leap or anything like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So yeah, it was all about the jungle path start from Neutri here. They started bot side because they knew that they were going for the lane swap. They were trying to, I guess, cool the bluff of MNM, knowing that they were probably wanting to avoid the 2 versus 2, or rather the 1 versus 1, which is probably the more ideal method. And then they once they realised that the top side start was likely from MNM, because it's the classic way that you run a lane swap, they went immediately for the blue side MNM blue buff, and that means that Neutri's going to be able to 3 buff Kevin Batic here, as well as getting the first blood. This is kind of what we kind of knew Neutri for back in the day. He just had the presence of mind to make these very sensible macro decisions, and again, it's starting off really well for him. He's got exactly what a Nidalee needs, which is an early impetus or input of gold.
Yeah, got that Tracker's Knife already as well, so he's going to be placing as many wards as he can in the enemy jungle. Hopper farming up that Baleful Strike. Exactly what we expect to see him do, and you can see Luxie already knows what this lane's going to be about. He's gone for Cull first item, which is very rarely seen, but
especially on a Corki.
Yeah, especially on a Corki. If you know you're not going to be getting big fights in the mid lane, if you know you're not going to be like trying to get those kills too much, you can go for that Cull. Prosphere not in the best position because Neutri's around the corner. Steadfast Presence will time out, and there comes the stun. Prosphere's going to go very, very low. He knocks back Neutri and does flash away. Jokers and flashes in, gets the kill with one last auto attack, along with the Rend. Really nicely done by him.
You see this time and time again from players. They are so greedy with their flash. They want to save it. They think they can survive out being that close to their tower.
Valkyrie doesn't get you away from the event horizon, and Kevin Batic is going to try and chase, but they don't know where Neutri is, so they have to back away. Luxie does burn flash, but gets himself away towards safety.
Yeah, again, just talking to Prospect, he had his flash. He could have tried to flash away from that final, either from the final proc of the stun on concussive blows, or try and flash away from
the pounce.
The pounce early on, but he didn't. He chose not to. He wanted to save it. He thought he could survive. And then unfortunately didn't respect the Jokerism flash Rend there.
Event Horizon comes down onto Luxie, but Half Past Thor is in a bad position because Neutri just around the corner. Counter flash burnt there. Luxie stayed in the middle of the Event Horizon, didn't get stunned up, and survives for now a big CS lead already for him over Half Past Thor in mid.
Yeah, and again, this is kind of what you're expecting in this Veigar Corki matchup. Again, Veigar just will never be able to win trades or pressure in that mid lane. It's not what we expect Half Past Thor to be doing. And interestingly enough, this is the first time I've seen Half Past Thor burn his flash in lane very early as well. Very classically, he doesn't receive much jungle pressure because he's so defensive.
I mean, Veigar doesn't quite have the same range as a Karthus or as a Ziggs or someone like that, so does mean he has to be a little bit more aggressive and had to burn that flash to get away from the jungle gank. So usually he's able to stand a little bit further back and be a little bit more defensive.
But I'm interested to why Kevin Batic is putting pressure on Half Past Thor. It's something that classically MNM don't generally tend to do. In fact, we've seen Kevin Batic mostly spend his time for Gash and Slash in the top lane or trying to get his bot lane ahead.
You're going to be able to kill a Rammus? That's the question.
Because of how defensive Half Past Thor plays, it's very difficult to make ganks work for him. And because of how defensive he plays, when he looks to go offensive, it's so obvious that he's getting ganked.
Oh, here we go again. But that's the thing, because Event Horizon now has that little timer where it shows you it's about to come up. Valkyrie away by Luxie is 100% effective, and he will just get himself across towards safety. Once again, trades in the top lane, but in the top lane, which is the bot lane. Not really a huge amount happening there, but there's a big, medium-sized CS advantage for Nick over Gash and Slash, as that Rammus starts to power ball his way.
Yeah, the real advantages lie in that mid lane because of Half Past Thor unable to step up to minion waves. He may have to forgo a lot of minions because he just cannot get in range of Phosphorus Bomb. You can see here, any trades that he takes are going to be detrimental for him. There's no way he can trade back versus a Corki. And he's even going up against the Sheen very early on here. Gash and Slash is not going to win very easily in this top lane unless... Oh, some nice vital positions here for Gash and Slash.
Going to put some damage down onto Nick, but the Tremors comes out and Gash and Slash is going to have to try and jump his way away. He will lunge just for the second. Here comes Kevin Batic, and the grand challenge is down. Can Nick escape? Yes, he can. Not able to connect. Oh, he taunts Gash and Slash. That's almost a dead Fiora. Kevin Batic has to knock Neutri away, but Neutri still has the pounce, I believe. Kevin Batic still retreating. Here comes the spear, not quite going to connect. The red buff slow. Will it be enough? No. And Gash and Slash and Kevin Batic just about get away with their lives.
Okay.
Oh, do they? Do they? Neutri.
No, I think
Neutri. Here's Wiz as well. It's a big party in the bot lane, and Kevin Batic, the target, he'll safeguard towards the minions. They do push him back. but not quite
turret,
able to get the kill.
Could get turret.
Yeah.
What is interesting for me is how that was played. Gash and Slash had the opportunity, after having procced almost 3 Vitals in a row, to go all in with the Grand Challenge. And he probably... Oh, Luxie
takes a lot of damage. Event Horizon's been used, so is the Primordial Burst. He's going to try and turn this one round towards half past Thor. The tower does go down in the bottom lane. Now Luxie will escape, and Nutri's there, but there's no mana at all on that Nidalee, so he'll just use that red buff to slow Prosper as he runs away. They do keep Luxie alive, and now Nutri gets knocked into the wall. He'll get some damage down from Prosper, but not a huge amount of mana on half past Thor either. No Primordial Burst, no magic damage really coming out from that Veigar yet, as he's yet to pick up any AP items.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing here that he's got nothing in the tank in terms of damage that he can put down. He's not finished that Rod of Ages, which is basically... I know it's very, very regular for AP mid laners to go Rod of Ages now. It probably is the most popular first item, but it's very... Oh my goodness!
Goes in so much damage onto half past Thor. That's a dead Veigar. Luxie will go down in exchange as Kevin Batik picks up the kill, but... not the best trade there. Prosper has to be healed because Nick came into the top lane and would taunt him up just for a second. There are the Tremors. They're going to slowly ease away. Chrome Rammus Tremors. It's like the Saw movies all over again. It's going to Prosper. No way does he escape this. The slow onto Nick. The powerball.
He gets away!
He gets the Diver's Flash across the wall, and Prosper survives with his life. Rammus is not the hero of the day there. And Poppy just about escapes.
Yeah, so 2 things there. Prosper got away by charging to a minion, then able to flash across the wall.
And
but
the slow with the Q.
Yeah, the slow from his Q was fantastic. I mean, great play from Prosper. Very fantastic Poppy play to just to be able to escape getting killed. Half past Thor lost his life because the Valkyrie went past the realms of the Event Horizon, which just meant that he was unfortunately caught out, unable to stun the Corki. Had Corki got stunned and had that been placed a little bit further back. Oh no!
Half past Thor, that's so much damage from the spin. Nutri tries to jump in, won't be able to do it, but the Glacial Fisher picks up the kill. And once more, we see a bloodthirsty Braum in our games as Wiz picks up his first kill of the game.
Oh, this is the issue when you put Half past Thor on something that's a little bit more vulnerable than a Karthus or a Zillion. He's just going to get focused down. When he was on Ziggs, he got focused incredibly. He just didn't really have an impact in the game, and I feel like it's going towards that way with this Veigar pick, as Luxie is the target.
Luxie is the target, but he'll be able to Valkyrie away. Pretty safe mid laner on that Cork. He gets himself away. And Gash and Slash trying to get back up in the CS war. Still 13 behind off Nick, and Nick seems to have had a bit more of a map presence than the Fiora in the top.
Well, the thing is, Fiora's not going to have a map presence because she's just looking to split push. You know, she's ideally wants to stay away from the rest of the team as much as physically possible. But when you pick a Fiora, you really want to be the person that, if you don't deal with her, she's going to win the game from a side lane. Which is kind of the way that we haven't seen UK teams play Fiora. We've seen a lot of people trying to force fights where they're saying, I'm strong, I'm Fiora, I can come into a team fight. But versus a Rammus, a Braum, there's no way Fiora team fights here. Yeah. You know, she's going to get absolutely melted if she tries to go into the backline and do the real damage that she needs to versus this lineup from Choke. So you just don't fight with her. That teleport is there merely to try and react to maybe a Baron or, you know, make a very obvious turnaround in a team fight. You're not going to be looking to engage with her. She is a reactionary teleporter. She's never going to proactively teleport.
How is she going to react to there being 3 people in the top lane? Can she get back towards the tower? The Grand Challenge comes down onto Nutri, but she's stunned up with that concussive blows. She will get away. That Grand Challenge was well timed, meant that Nutri couldn't stay around for too long, because otherwise could proc all those vitals and get that healing field down. Kevin Batik caught out by Nick. It's the top laner v jungler matchup once more, and Batik has to safeguard away. However, Prosper is here. Going to knock Nick into the wall. Here comes Smoky Lemon as well. It's quite a tanky Rammus already, but he's not going to survive a culling. And that Armadillo gets taken out by Smoky Lemon.
Yeah, again, he was looking to try and solo out Smoky Lemon, I think, and now Gash and Slash. See, exactly.
No,
there's no way. There's no way he can fight. You're looking at Choke's rotations. They're not letting Fiora have a 1 versus 1. They are continuously reacting to Fiora moving to the other side lanes, and they're putting multiple people up against her that she never gets the opportunity to get ahead in a 1 versus 1, never gets the opportunity to get free gold in the bank so that she becomes that horror in the side lane. And they're getting turrets from it as well.
Gas
So
and Slash needs to teleport in here to stop this, otherwise they're going to get the tower.
he can't.
And
He will die.
Yeah,
he will
that's
die
the
if
problem.
teleports.
Either he teleports in and risks dying, or they lose the second tower. They've lost 3 towers for 1 off that push, and they haven't even got bot tower out of it yet.
Again,
Smoky Lemon dies to Nick.
That's what Nick was looking to do originally.
With the he TP's in, TP's in, powerballs in, and Smoky Lemon goes down. They don't get the tower. They get a dragon and a kill for 3 towers.
So when he was positioned down the bot lane, when he was looking to do that originally, but obviously he got spotted out by Kevin Batic. He got his revenge though, and this is just Choke playing a really brilliant game.
Yeah.
They're not letting Fiora go 1 versus 1 versus Nick now. They're saying nope, that's not happening. They are simply pushing Fiora into unfavourable number matchups so that she never gets the opportunity to push from a side lane. And then they're just applying pressure. They know that Nick can beat out Smoky Lemon because classically MNM like to leave Smoky Lemon in a side lane. Yep. And they know that Gash and Slash is never going to be able to fight effectively versus a 3-man push from Wiz, Jokerism, and Nutri. So this is just a fantastic way to deal with a Fiora. The lane swaps always tend to cripple Fiora, but now they're just continuing on that pressure from the lane swap. And it's just also meant that it's reducing the amount of time that Half-Past Thor has to farm. Yeah. Because if stuff is happening across the rest of the map, Half-Past Thor is not going to be able to sit in his mid-lane island and just farm up. He's already 40 CS down, by the way. This is something we just don't see happen to Half-Past Thor. A 15-minute Rod of Ages. You know, in most cases, we'd see that at like 12 minutes, 13 minutes. Choke are doing such a good job of delaying all of the key points for MNM, and that's the way you beat it. You just delay the power spikes. Titanic Hydra, delayed. Rod of Ages, delayed. Everything delayed on the side of MNM.
How much do you think the not being able to switch between the different Hydra types affects Fiora in the modern game? Do you think that we...
in the modern game?
Right, in the current patch, in 6.4, how much do you think that actually affects her? Because Fiora's endgame will always go for the Titanic Hydra, but Ravenous Hydra was quite strong mid-game.
I wouldn't totally agree that all Fioras go for endgame.
The majority of Fioras
it's very situation dependent. I think it really affects Fiora because I think she likes to have that versatility. For instance, versus a Malphite, you would often see them go for the Ravenous, especially if they're stuck in a 1v1, because against things like Sunfire Cape, you need the sustain to win the 1 versus 1 matchups up. Yes, you get sustain through proccing vitals, but realistically, every hit you make has to counteract the damage that you're receiving from Sunfire Cape. So I like the Ravenous Hydra early on, and then maybe going towards the Titanic Hydra when you want to survive a little bit more effectively later on. You picked up maybe a Bloodthirst to provide that lifesteal for you. Going for this Titanic Hydra, it means that she doesn't do as well versus the Sunfire Cape matchup. She doesn't do as well and isn't completely dominant, you know, compared to what we used to see the Fioras be like. So yeah, I think this swapping change actually does have a significant impact on Fiora.
1-3-1 is the split for Choke Gaming, and at the moment we see Gash and Slash trying to counter out Nick and losing that trade pretty badly at the moment. The Sunfire Cape on that Rammus is very, very strong. Look at that, half HP just from 1 taunt, and Gash and Slash has to retreat. We see Smoky Lemon in the bot lane trying to beat out Luxie, but Luxie has a Triforce, has Sorcerer's Shoes against Smoky Lemon's Essence Reaver alone at the moment, so not a huge amount he can do to defend this tower as well, and bit by bit the base of MNM
macro
is
play has been fantastic. This is
Choke's macro play has been really
I think this
strong.
has been a lot of Nutri's influence. This reeks of Nutri.
It reeks of him.
It reeks of Nutri because he is such a clever macro player, and this is actually the best that I've seen Choke look for all of the ESL Premierships so far. They've looked dominant. They've looked back to kind of old Choke level of dominance. And
4 Nations Choke?
Yeah, almost 4 Nations Choke. I mean, this is looking very clever. The play from Choke is just clever. And I like that. I like clever play.
It's just a shame you can't do it that often.
I know. I just suck mechanically, unfortunately.
Just a shame. Are there ways for MNM to get back into this game? They've got the Vigar scaling up. They've got the Fiora who can split push. I think the defining moment of this game will be if at some point Gash and Slash can 1v1 Nick. If that ever happens, that's where MNM starts to take the lead. Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. It's a long way away. It's a long, especially with the Titanic. It's just going to, even during the smaller team fights, and it is a Thunderlord's Rammus, by the way. Even during the smaller skirmishes, she's just not going to have the sustain to deal with Sunfire Cape and the defensive ball kill from Rammus. She's just the ZZ Rock Portal, don't forget about that. Yeah, but that's... No, it's wave push. So it's just fun. Exactly. But I mean, with smaller skirmishes, she's just not going to be able to deal with... She needs more sustain, basically, versus this Rammus. You need some form of sustain to deal with what's basically an inbuilt Thorn Mail and the Sunfire.
no matter how quick you are at popping vitals, you're not going to be able to realistically survive versus Aramis. And you can see this now. He feels confident enough to go into that split push role, especially with the ZZ Rot.
And the difficulty for the rest of MNM is they just don't have the damage or the manpower to deal with 3 men of choke in the mid lane. Like, they've lost the tower in the bot lane already. We see Jokerism. Kevin Batik thought about going for it. You don't go for that. Don't go for that. You're going to lose to a Kalista. It's miles ahead of you at the moment. And just MNM trying to play the waiting game, but losing parts of their base as they do it.
Again, it's a problem with late games. We saw it with the Cogmore composition from FM earlier in the day. You know, you have these late game scaling Jokerism.
He tries to go in onto... No. Kevin Batik, that was greedy. Fate's Call comes out. Now he's going to get caught up. Now he's going to go down and just cannot kill Jokerism. Even if that was a 1v1, Jokerism wins that.
Yeah, I actually think he should have kicked a lot earlier.
Yeah, he should have kicked Jokerism straight away.
Yeah, he should have got the seismic, the sonic wave combo with the kick immediately, because you give Kalista any time of day, she will just move away from you. Remember, the only way... Oh, Harpastor.
Nick's just going to chase this.
Nick's going for it.
Nick's got Tremors.
He knows it down.
There is the taunt, but actually really nicely done by Prospect to knock him back, but it's still a dead Harpastor. Prospect dead as well. It's a double kill for Luxie in the mid lane. 3-1-1 on that Corki, and as you say, Choke playing exceptionally well on a macro scale, on a micro scale, in the lanes, in the swap, really well all round, and now they're looking towards Baron.
Yeah, and again, this is a very late game composition from MNM. I see it time and time again. If you figure out how to deal with Harpastor, or you put him on a champion that isn't quite as safe or able to clear waves as effectively as Karthus or Zilean, then they're going to struggle. And you see Harpastor is 0-3 and MNM are struggling. That's been the recipe. That has been the recipe. And they've picked up Baron now as well.
21-minute Baron.
21-minute Baron. That's unbelievable. And Choke are looking amazing. We haven't really talked about Jokerism. He's had a pretty quiet game, but he is 2-0-0. Yeah. He has picked up nearly 3 items. The guy is a monster. You just aren't seeing it because a lot of the action is really centered around this mid lane, which is where it should be when you're playing against MNM. That's where the pressure should be, because that's their main key to winning. Yeah,
it definitely is. And now with the Baron buff, that 1-3-1 split looks even more sumptuous, even more delicious, even more enticing.
Yes, like it. Nice vocabulary.
Thanks, they might just go for a 1-4 here, leave Nick off towards the top, bottom lane by himself to push up towards that tower. Not really a huge amount of damage coming out from that Lucian yet. Smoky Lemon not in the position to clear these waves that quickly. Tremens, of course, does damage to towers.
Yep.
One of only a couple of abilities that does passive damage to towers, along with Alistair's passive, which...
I'm pretty sure they're the only 2, right?
Probably.
And we're not counting like auto attacking
powers.
powers.
Yeah, I think those are the only 2 passive abilities.
The only two damages that deal magic damage to towers, right?
Anyway, here we go. It looks like Wizard's being called out, but he's not, because Prospect goes down, as does Kevin Bacon. A huge amount of damage coming out from Lucy. The Primordial Burst is not quite enough, but they do get the shutdown. Now, Nutri's stunned up as well. They can try and turn onto him a little bit, but they pick up 2 in exchange for 2. Nutri and Jokerism still going to push down, and at the moment, MNM will take that because you've got rid of 2 Barons on the enemy team as well.
That's Corki still. Corki, we thought Corki... Oh.
TP in from Gash and Slash. He's going to try and get onto Jokerism and Nutri, but they've given up this tower for that. Like, that tower goes. And now, Gash and Slash is trying to take out Jokerism. Can he do it? Can he proc the Vitals? One more. The parry. Yes, he does actually get the kill. Now they're going to try and turn onto Nick and Nutri, but they escape. The base has been broken. They get the inhibitor tower, but they pick up 3 kills.
3 kills means very little, I think, at this point in time. That's the unfortunate reality of the situation. Nice to have those 3 kills, but what are you doing? Really, the best teams translate kills into something on the map. But at this point, MNM can't translate into anything on the map. They're pushed in every single lane. They don't have the time on those death timers to be able to do anything. There's nothing. There's no big objectives to take because Dragon and Baron are gone. They're not going to be able to take a tower. It's just it's 3 kills to make sure that they don't lose anything. It's a defensive 3 kills.
I think that's what defines a good and a great team. A good team will get the kills and win the game. A great team will get
the kills
more
and do something with it
per kill. And thus win the game.
Yeah,
you can win a game with 1 kill if you got all the objectives of that kill. Yeah. That's fine.
They'll get the kills and they'll do something with it. But I think MNM, if they had the opportunity there, they're just too far behind. That's the problem. If they had the opportunity, they probably would have done something with it. And look at the damage. He's got the Thorn Mail as well. And obviously when Rammus' passive is 50% of his armor is applied to his AD.
Yep.
So you think Thornmail is probably the highest armor value item in the game next to Frozen Heart. That's a huge amount of extra AD for that Rammus. And it makes him a very scary prospect when trying to duel him, especially with the Sunfire cape as well. So, and the double Thornmail that comes in the defensive Bull Curl and the Thornmail.
So strong.
So difficult to deal with Rammus at this point in the game.
Kevin Batic trying to position it behind the choke lineup here, see if you can get something
Kick Jokerism,
going.
I think.
Kick Jokerism into an Event Horizon. Has to be the plan. He goes for it. There's the Event Horizon. Can they burst that Jokerism? They can. They pick up one, but that is a lot burnt just to get that kill. I like the fact that Gash and Slash went in onto Nick here as well.
For it.
He's going to try and get the win. Oh, what is this? This is what we said. Is this the defining moment of the gaming scoundrel? Gash and Slash has 1v1'd Nick.
Yeah, but top lane. Look at top lane.
Look at top lane, guys, because Corky's going to keep going for it. We will get there in a second. The camera's just taking a moment to catch up. But there we go. Top lane doesn't get the tower, though. Doesn't get the tower.
So that is really, really crazy to me because this is a not even 2-item Fiora. Hasn't even picked up her Black Cleaver at this point in time. And like I said, to beat a Rammus as a Fiora, you have to go all in. Yeah. You have to proc those vitals because they deal a large amount of percentage.
Stay around. And look at this. Hopper Stall's there. He can flash Event Horizon if he wants. He will just get away to Nutri, though. And that is probably a bit too aggressive for Hopper Stall.
So to beat a Rammus as a Fiora, you can't go half measures. You either proc vitals and get out, or you literally throw down the Grand Challenge, do percentage max true damage. Doesn't matter how many Thornmails you've got. If you're going up against a Fiora doing percentage true health damage, you're never going to survive. So obviously I think maybe Nick was just too keen on trying to take that inhibitor, probably didn't realize the threat of that Grand Challenge, and now that she's got the Black Cleaver, this is getting towards that scary stage of Fiora as well. So maybe Nick can't split push versus Fiora now.
I think the fact that that inhibitor didn't go down in the bottom lane is really big for MNM because it means that the split pressure in that lane isn't delayed a huge amount. If there's super minions coming up against you, you can still split push in the lane, but it takes you that much longer to actually
there's still a long way to go for MNM here. They're still 10k down. It's providing a small amount of, I guess, silver linings that now Gash and Slash is an effective split pusher. But the thing is, you're still dealing with Luxie in that side lane.
Luxie might go down. Oh.
No, there's not enough damage coming out. There's three QSSs, by the way.
Yeah, Luxie didn't even QSS that, though. But with a Primordial Burst and a Baleful Strike there, I think Harper Storm might have picked it up.
No, not with the QSS.
It's a 3-level... Wow, yeah.
Oh, Primordial, but the special delivery can go across the Event Horizon.
No, he QSS as he went through it.
No,
he got stunned and then he QSS'd.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was a very quick QSS.
Yeah, it was
Holy moly.
really
that
pretty.
was super quick.
But yeah, that was just a huge amount of damage. And he didn't use Primordial Burst. I think Luxie goes down if you use that ultimate there. Now the bottom lane inhibitor is being taken out by Choke. Luxie takes out Kevin Batic as well as he tried to go aggressive there. He's just not got enough resistance to play up against the Corki, and it's something we've seen game after game.
Primordial Burst
Luxie's in an awful position.
I was just thinking about Primordial Burst is generally a bit of an anti-mage tool. They're losing their Nexus turrets, by the way, as they go to try to deal with
But it's an anti-mage tool, but it still has pretty good base AP off it.
Yeah,
and against the Corki,
agree.
you do all right. He's got Triforce.
You've got to realise that actually QSS provides quite a significant proportion of magic damage reduction. So yeah, again, nice play by Choke, and to be honest, yes, you might not be able to put Nick into the 1 versus Fiora now, but who's going to 1 versus 1 the Corki? This is kind of what the gauntlet that Choke is throwing down at the moment. They're saying, yeah, fine, split push with Fiora, we don't really care. What we do care about is the fact that we've got a level 17 Corki that literally no one can deal with. He's literally just going to split push on the other side of the map, and either you deal with him, which you've got no one to deal with him, you just saw how Half-Past Thor fared in that situation, or we just take free turrets and take free inhibitors. And you saw they've already lost their inhibitors in the bot lane. Next Baron is up on the map. This could be going over to Choke. This could be looking to seal the game now, Sona.
I hate wards at position there.
Yeah, really very difficult.
Because you've got your map that position, and you have to turn it around here to get to the wood. And just really frustrating, especially as a support player, because you always get flamed for not clearing the wards. Don't flame, guys. It's difficult. It's hard. But yeah, I think Choke have got into a point here where, because Luxie's so big, he's the highest level in the game, higher than Nick, higher than Gash and Slash, 3 levels higher than Half-Past Thor. We have just got to pause. But because he's such a high level in the game, it's really difficult for anyone to deal with him at the moment.
Yeah.
He's got Rapid Fire Cannon, Infinity Edge, and Triforce. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely massive. And it's a slight differentiation in terms of build path that we saw coming out from the last Corki that we had in the series. He went for the Essence Reaver second. I believe that was Larson. Larson went for the Essence Reaver second. This is going for the snowbally Corki build in the sense that you just want to maximize that critical strike damage that you can do. It's higher amount of burst, really super hard to deal with as well. And you can see here he's able to basically two-shot Harpa's Thor. Almost got that 3-4 level advantage on him. There's no one that can deal with Luxi right now, and Corki has been a standout performer across multiple games for us here in the ESL Premiership this week.
Gashon Slash is trying to get back to base so that he can home guards teleport into this fight if he's needed. However, super minions are already getting up towards his inhibitor. They've backed off Baron, so we're going to see just a little bit more wait time here for Choke before they go back towards it. Start it up again. Gashon Slash there in the bottom lane can, of course, teleport in. Nice Unbreakable blocks the entire culling, but Wiz will get stunned up. Here comes the TP. They try and knock him away, and actually Jokerism still in the fight. It was Luxi who got knocked away. Will rejoin ever so quickly.
The teleport's down, and look, they have to deal with that bot lane.
They do have to deal with the bot lane. We can see the pings already coming out there from Choke. Now it's just one Nexus Tower, as you say, Scoundrel, all alone. 2 super minions. The counter Harpa's Thor coming here is huge, because it means they cannot fight this Baron effectively anymore. No. Harpa's Thor is their burst damage. He's basically all of their damage. There's no Wiz with them at the moment. It's really up to whether Kevin Batik can get in here and steal this away. Baron is down to 4,000 HP. It's almost taken out. They've stopped doing it, actually, because they're going for the fight instead, because Gashon Slash is gone. He's slashed off the map by Choke Gaming, and once again we see Choke choking the life out of their opposition as they go for the next Baron. 30 minutes on the clock. Luxi tries to take out Kevin Batik. Kevin Batik with a flash ultimate will knock him away, but they get him. Jokerism across the wall, and now the Baron goes down. It looks like MNM have run out of marshmallows, and once the meal is done, there's only a meal for Choke Gaming. They're going to jump onto Harpa's Thor, who gets taken out straight away. They do get a counter kill there, but it's Wiz versus Prospere and Smoky Lemon, and Wiz is winning the fight. Nick has teleported in to the bottom lane to get the Nexus Tower. Tremors is off. Is this the first time we will ever see Tremors take down a Nexus? No, it's not, because instead they're going to try and take down Prospere, who will just about flash.
I mean, I don't even think Smoky Lemon could kill the Nexus if he tried.
No, he can't. There is the Nexus going down. Choke Gaming take the win over Molotovs and Marshmallows.
Yeah, and I said this was potentially going to be the game of the week, but